So I'll get started. Thank you everybody for answering. Okay, so basically, many years ago, I got thrust into the food allergy community, I guess, unwillingly, but there I was with my son, who was at the time about a year and a half old, developing a peanut and nut allergy. And from that day forward, well, if you guys are here listening, you probably know what we were dealing with, and that is navigating how to keep him safe, but at the same time having, a good relationship with food, being able to enjoy food, and and navigating all, not just within our family, which we chose within our family to basically, have solidarity. So whatever he couldn't eat, we just didn't have in the house. It made everyone's life so much easier, and it worked well. It worked well for us that way. I know not all families do that, and that's a family preference. But then you go out into the world. You have birthday parties, and you have even holiday traditions and all those sorts of things, and you have to learn to deal with all of that. And so and then as time progressed, I actually developed a gluten intolerance, which I had as a child, seemed to go away and then came back. And then my daughter has developed a whole host of food intolerances, which we're still trying to work out. And that probably is a whole other hour-long conversation. But if any of you are struggling with food intolerances, I wouldn't mind talking to you and sharing what we've learned about that along the way. Because in some ways, that's even harder, because the allergies, the true food allergies, are easier to diagnose and to figure out in a lot of cases than the food intolerances. But anyway, well, and then some people are just looking to avoid foods for personal preference, not even medical reasons. For example, vegans or that sort of thing. And so what we found the best way for us to approach everything, and this is sort of a guiding principle of our family, not just related to food, but in general, something that we've tried to teach our kids, is that if life's going to be full of problems, and food allergies is one of those problems that we had. And everybody has something going on in their life, some problem. And we feel like when a problem comes to you, it's okay to take a minute to acknowledge that problem, to say, you know what, this is hard, and acknowledge that it's hard. But then our philosophy is to not then dwell on that, but instead focus on finding solutions to that problem, and being creative and being determined, and not letting it interfere with the happiness of your life, and doing everything you can to work your way around that problem and to make it so that it just isn't a problem anymore. And really, we got to that point in our lives where we were able to navigate. And I just took it on as a challenge, honestly, to say, okay, well, how can we would see a dessert in a restaurant, and, well, let's go home and try to figure out how to make that in a safe way for him. Or, as time went on, Thanksgiving, we had Thanksgivings. I have a niece who has a potato allergy. So we had Thanksgivings that were nut-free, dairy-free, gluten, corn, and potato-free. And, when you think about that, and everybody, even people who didn't have intolerances or allergies, was happy with what the meal was. We were able to accommodate everybody. And I just took it on as a challenge, and being creative and just never stopping with trying to, solve those problems. And I involved the kids in that. And it was a great teaching opportunity, really, to say, instead of just wallowing in, oh, this is so hard and you're missing out on so many things that you can't have. Instead of that, it's, well, how can we make the best of this? What can we make that we enjoy? And you just don't give in to the situation and find solutions. And so that was really a guiding principle that helped us so much as a family deal with it. And it really is, in the end, what led me to making Metaball, because that's our product that I developed, and it's a snack food. And I made it because I was having so much trouble finding good, healthy snacks that were holding us over, that that were safe for my son. And that's, Ashley, go ahead.
I was going to say, so Susie, what was going on in your life when you started to kind of develop what we now know as Metaball Energy Bites?
Right. So the kids were, a little older. We kind of had the whole peanut nut allergy thing in hand. We were dealing with it well. But as they got older and they were, school age, and we had 3 kids and all full of activities and everything. So, kids would come home from school, got to get them a quick snack, and then you're out the door to at least one activity a day, sometimes more than that. And we needed something that was going to hold everybody over from, that time all the way through practices and whatever, until we got home, made dinner, and then, and what I found was, when I was giving them, the pretzels or the goldfish or even granola and cereal bars, those kind of snacks just were not holding us over. They weren't giving us enough to make it. Everybody would come home from all of our activities starving. When's dinner going to be ready? Well, I just got home too, so dinner's still going to be a little while. And I was getting frustrated with those sort of just carb heavy, often refined carb heavy snacks that just were not cutting it. And so that was where I started looking for, what can I do? What can I get that's better? And most of the things that nutritionally I felt like fit the bill were the, protein bar type of product, but none of them were safe. They all had peanuts or nuts, or made in a facility that processes peanuts and nuts. And some of them at the time were maybe not things I really wanted to feed the kids anyway. And they were all high in sugar. And so I started just working on, I said, you know what, I'm just going to make our own. And I started working on designing a snack that fit our needs by being balanced nutrition. So this is where, Ashley, I don't know if you're going to be able to share a screen of the
yeah, let me pull it up.
Okay. But one of the things, so I was constantly on the lookout for, until we get to that, I was constantly on the lookout for products that, in addition to trying to just go home, well, let me try to make a safe version of that at home, homemade stuff. And that's all very well and good. And I did a lot of that. But sometimes you just need a break. You can't always be making everything homemade for yourself in the busy life that you have. And you need to be able to fall back on convenient products and not feel guilty about it, not feel bad about it. And so I was always on the lookout for any products that were allergy friendly to us. And then I would buy them and support that product because I felt like, thank you. I wanted to say thank you to the people who made them. And the best way I could do that was to just buy their products. But then I still was lacking oh, there we go. I don't know if we can get that. I still was lacking the snack solution. And so one of the things that I find is that this is a chart that shows the USDA recommended amount of protein, fat, and carbs. And a balanced diet is going to have some of each of those things. And for the fats, you obviously want to be trying to get the healthy fats that, you listen to what nutritionists recommend. Oh, well, get your healthy fats from nuts. Well, if you're allergic to nuts, that's a little hard. But seeds work too. So sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, we ate a lot of those. And that is one of the main ingredients in Metabol is sunflower seeds. And then the carbs, we have a wide range of carbs, right, in the American diet available. And so that goes anything from sugar, which is not something that you want to be eating a lot of, to simple carbs that are in pretzels or potato chips, that sort of thing. And then moving up to complex carbs that are in whole grain oats and other whole grains, or even sunflower seeds that are in Metabol. They have complex carbs in them. And so those are the best carbs that you're looking for. And one of the things that has occurred to me over the years is that in general, most of our meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, do contain each of these carbs, fat, and protein. But a lot of snacks are very carb heavy and maybe unhealthy fat and simple carbs. And those are, and that's why a lot of the snacks end up leaving you feeling worse an hour after you have them than before. So I just want to break down a little bit of, I'll explain this chart a little bit more, and then I want to, then we can remove that. But if you look at what's recommended, 10 to 30% of your diet, of your calories coming from protein. Metabol is right there, 18 to 21%. You want fats, 20 to 35% of your diet being fats. And you want 45 to 65% of your diet being high quality carbs, as few of the simple carbs as you can, sugars and processed carbs, white rice, white flour, those kind of carbs are not, you want to minimize those. Okay, Ashley, we can probably, and Metabol was designed to fit these recommendations. And part of the reason why I was so focused on doing that is once you understand a little bit more about what happens to the food you eat, once you eat it, you start to understand the importance of getting that balance. So, for example, if I eat a bag of pretzels, those pretzels they get digested in my stomach so quickly, and they turn into sugar in my blood very quickly. And so then you end up with an elevated blood sugar. And then your body wants to, that's not good. So your body pumps out insulin and takes that sugar out of your blood and usually overdoes it. And then you get this sugar crash. And so an hour after you've eaten those, first you're feeling, oh, okay, I got energy because you got all this, sugar going through your blood. And then you crash and you feel hungrier, you feel cranky and sometimes shaky. And that snack that you had just an hour ago seems gone in your system. And so one of the things that you can do to combat that and to make it better, and not just, honestly, not just that, I found that for breakfast, a bowl of oatmeal would do the same for me. If I just had like plain oatmeal for breakfast, I would be starving by 10:30. And it took me a while to figure out why. And it's because of what I just described to you. It's almost all carbs, even though those are whole grain carbs, they still digest very quickly. You get this huge rush of sugar into your blood system, and then you crash, and then you remove that, it crashes, and you're left feeling hungry. Then when you get low blood sugar, sends a signal to your brain, hey, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. But you just ate, and so you're wondering what's going on. So the solution to that is when you combine those carbs with proteins and healthy fats, then the digestion slows down. Those proteins and fats, when they're mixing with the carbs in your stomach, they actually slow the digestion of the carbs down and slow the release of the blood, slow the release of the sugars into the bloodstream. So, oh, I see someone asking, is Metabol keto friendly? And no, it is not.
Well, I would like to, but any meal could be keto friendly as long as you keep it between 20 and 50 grams of carbs a day. However,
well, that's true. It would probably blow your carb allotment for the day if you had a bag of Metabol. It is, however, has a low glycemic index. And the reason it has a low glycemic index is what I'm explaining now. Because what happens is, even though there are some carbs in Metabol, the carbs get released very slowly. So we have some simple sugars that help you with a quick boost. But to prevent that crash, we have a lot of complex carbs and also healthy fats and the protein. And what that does is it ends up just releasing the sugars slowly into your system. And so you don't get that spike and you don't get the crash. And we've actually had testing done in humans to make sure that Metabol actually has a low glycemic index, which means that what that really means is Metabol doesn't create a sugar spike and following crash. And so that is one of the things that as I have, just learned more for my own self, it makes a lot of sense and sort of explains why meals, although meals are usually larger, true, but also why, you're hungry if you've just eaten a meal that's mostly carbs. You get hungry sooner. And the way to deal with that is to make sure not just at meals, but that your snacks also have this nice balance of you're getting a source of whole grain carbs if you want the whole grain carbs. You're getting a source of protein in them, and you want some healthy fats in them. And if you make sure that your meals and your snacks have all three of those components in them, you're going to feel full and satisfied and energized for longer. You're not going to need the energy, quote unquote, that caffeine gives you. You're getting energy naturally through the complex carbs, and the healthy fats are really the energy sources in your food. Protein is more there for helping maintenance of your body, build muscles, maintenance of just your bodily functions. So I think that's an important thing, and you can find those sources of carbs and protein and healthy fats even around having allergies. So you may have to adjust it a little bit. If it's egg or dairy or nuts that you're allergic to, find the other sources that those particular foods provide. And there are plenty of opportunities to do that. But that was why I started making Metaball. Was honestly, it was one of the cases where I found a substitute that I thought could work in one of my old recipes that I wanted to share with my kids, so my kids weren't going without. So both my husband and I went to college in Ohio, and in Ohio they have this candy there. It's like these Buckeye candies that are peanut butter filled and dipped in chocolate. And, they'd been a favorite of ours when we were in college, and we talked about them, but of course we couldn't make them for the kids with my son's peanut allergy. But as soon as I discovered sun butter, I thought, oh, I can make Buckeyes using sun butter instead of peanut butter. So I pulled out my recipe from college. And now I'm not a college student anymore who just ate whatever junk I wanted to. I was now a mother of 3, and I pulled out my recipe, and I was kind of horrified. It was a pound, simple recipe, a pound of peanut butter, a pound of butter, and a pound of confectioner's sugar. Mix them all together, roll them up, and dip them in chocolate. So I made that once for the kids so that they could try it. And then I said, how can I make this healthier? I don't want to make this on a routine basis. How can I make this healthier? I want to add protein in it. I want to add whole grain oats in it. And I just started tinkering with it, and I came up with basically our own little protein ball. We called it, when I first started just making them for the family. And then everybody liked them so much. All of the kids' friends and their parents started asking me, can I pay you to make us some? And so then we started looking into developing it as a real product that could be out in the market. And I wanted it to be something that everyone could enjoy and could use. So we made it free from, well, at the time it was the top 8 allergens, but really we're inclusive of the top 14 allergens. So it's just something that is, oh, how did I make it healthier? Yes, I went to Ohio State for undergraduate. And then I went to University of Miami for biochemistry graduate school. And how did I make it healthier? I took out the butter. I reduced the sugar drastically. So I took out the only fats that are in there are coming from sunflower seed butter, or even the chocolate flavors have cocoa butter in it. So that's a lot better than just straight out butter. And I completely removed the confectioner's sugar as like an ingredient in the core. And we use brown rice syrup and a syrup called Yacon syrup. The brown rice syrup has no fructose in it, whereas a lot of the sweeteners have a lot of fructose in it. And fructose is a whole nother story, but pretty much it's better to avoid fructose if you can. The Yacon syrup is a really interesting syrup that I found, and it has a lot of prebiotics in it. So that the carbs, that it tastes sweet, sort of like molasses, but it actually has a lot of the carbs that are in it are prebiotics, which are the type of carbs that the good bacteria in your stomach like to feed on. So that's a much better sweetener than sugar, confectioner sugar. So that's a lot of what goes into Metaball now. And so it's whole grain oats and sunflower seed butter and then brown rice and yellow pea protein powder. And that was how like I said, I wanted to make sure I'm getting all of those components in so that you're getting the balanced nutrition. And any snack that you look for, a really good rule of thumb to find a healthy snack or anything you're putting in your mouth should have fewer sugars than it has number of grams of protein. So you look at the label, you say, like, for example, for Metabol, it has 10 grams of protein, but only 9 grams of sugar. So that's great. If you look at some of the other bars, maybe they have 9 or 10 grams of protein in them, but 22 grams of sugar. That is really unnecessary. And you can make things taste good with less sugar. You just don't need that much sugar. And then the other thing is to look for fiber. So you want at least 3 grams of fiber in a serving. And this is actually, those guidelines are actually something that a doctor from Tufts University at the medical school, Dr. Wayne Altman, has made an Altman rule. And that's generally, I just described the Altman rule to you. So.
Yeah, and if you guys can't, we didn't really preface this, but Susie is a biochemist. So although she just explained to you and she touched upon all of the ingredients that she very carefully chose and really was intentional about putting into this product, I mean, biology and chemistry are two huge processes that happen in our body every day that she was really keeping in mind when formulating this and really deciding for all of the food choices, I think, for your family.
Yeah.
So Metabol is unique in the fact that it is bite-sized pieces and it's in a resealable bag. And you don't see this format often. So were you very intentional about this piece of the product as well?
Also, and part of this came from my original, just the Buckeyes, the ball shape. We all like the ball shape. But instead of being the Buckeyes are fairly big, they're a mouthful. We decided to make them. We as we started eating them, we really liked the idea of a bite-sized ball for a number of reasons. One was that you don't always want the whole thing, and a lot of women in particular, and kids also, will, maybe eat like half a bar and save it for later. But that almost never gets eaten later because it's found in the bottom of a gym bag or a purse or inside the cabinet, and it's gotten old and, dry. And so I wanted to, I really liked being able to sort of eat it as I needed it. And even within a bag, maybe I'll finish the bag, but maybe I'll eat it when I'm eating the pieces. I actually eat it more slowly also, which is another thing that helps you. You eat it a little more mindfully. You eat it more slowly, and so your body is feeling, by the time you're done eating that, your body is feeling more satisfied with the serving that you just had than if you are, then you eat a bar maybe a little faster. And I also like that they're able to be shared. So, in this COVID time, maybe that's not acceptable anymore. Make sure everybody's washed their hands before you share it, people. But we do that a lot. Like, I'll grab a bag of Metabol and, in the car, we'll share it. And so each bag is about the same as a bar. So it's like, around 200 calories. So I'm just laughing at the comments. Sorry. How the poor person has so many crumbs from unfinished bars. So each bag is about the same as most of the bars that are out there, but it has a resealable thing. So if you don't want to finish it all at once, you can zip it up and save it for later. And I just find that that's really helpful for me. And a lot of times when I, let's be clear, I get as strong a sweet tooth craving as anyone out there. So I'm talking about eating all healthy and everything. I love desserts, and but of course I try to limit them. And sometimes when I'm really feeling like, oh, I just want, after I've had a meal and you get that, you're full, but you still want a dessert and you get that like craving and it won't go away. And so sometimes for me, I'll open a pack of Metaball. I'll have, half the pack or something like that. And they're sweet enough that takes care of my sweet tooth craving. But at the same time, I know I'm actually eating something healthy for me. So I don't have to feel quite as guilty about it.
Yep, been there, done that. And I've had them with like on top of yogurt, or like they're good as additions to a meal too.
Yes. Yeah. I have, I often have them for breakfast when I don't feel like making breakfast for myself, especially these days when, we're all home and we're all making 3 meals a day for ourselves. And it's just, a lot more, it just feels like we're making so much more food for ourselves, which is probably a healthy thing and a good thing. But every now and then, oh my gosh, you just want a break. And so I definitely have these for breakfast sometimes. And sometimes one bag at 200 calories isn't really enough for my breakfast. So I'll have it with some yogurt or something like that. And it works really well.
Yeah. And I know, Susie, when we were talking about this presentation too earlier, you kind of mentioned that, when you were dealing with, 3 kids with different allergies and everything like that, that you really, one of the most important things to you was finding a snack that was kind of like your go-to. I thought that was like a really good tip.
And that is, again, there's a lot of talk out there about not, trying not to eat too much processed food and that sort of thing. And I kind of look at that and say, you know what? I mean, processed food was invented for a reason. It really helps our lives a lot. And there are good processed foods out there. You just have to be a little more discriminating. And then once you find the good processed foods, I make sure I have them in stock at home. And especially, like you said, when I was running around with the 3 kids, and sometimes we would be caught, I would make sure to have, something in the car with us, because especially we'd be out and everybody was starting to get hungry and this is not good. I've got like a car full of cranky kids and I know we have like 2 more hours till we're going to eat. And I can't just stop at a convenience store and pick up anything that easily, because we've got all these allergies to deal with. And so I started bringing my snack, Metaball, in the car with us or in my purse or whatever, so that we had, and also at home in the pantry, so that it was just like always there as your safety net, to back you up. You didn't have to worry about going into a store and finding something that you can eat and, taking an extra 10, 15 minutes looking through the aisles to try to find something. Once I found those things, I would just stick to them and be so happy to have, the one or, handful of products that I had looked at, made sure that I liked them, that I felt good about them. There are good processed or packaged goods out there, but you do have to be a little more discriminating. Look at the labels, see what the nutrition is. Is this, just pure carbs and sugars that you're getting? Well, if it is, you're going to be hungry in an hour still. And, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
and then, the last topic that we have, so feel free to ask any other comment with any other questions that you guys have. But Susie, have you gotten any feedback from any customers, or have you learned anything from people with food allergies or allergy moms that you wanted to share, whether it's stories, anecdotes, tips and tricks, or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I hear back from a lot of people who, you know, we hear really positive feedback about Metaball. I mean, for one thing, because my children were the taste testers in making this, you know, I couldn't make something that didn't taste good, that kids weren't gonna like. So it's very kid friendly, kid approved. And, you know, they actually feel like they're eating something maybe like a treat, you know, but they're getting good nutrition in. And so that's one thing. And I've heard back from one mom whose daughter was an avid golfer. And she said every time she go out, and she had allergies, every time she go out, you know, she'd hit that like maybe 13th hole, and her play would just start going down because she'd be getting hungry and just not have the energy. And so she started bringing Metaball with her on the golf course, and she could eat them, you know, a few at a time as she was going, which made it a lot easier and to eat, you know, between holes. And she said it just held her steady through the entire 18 holes. And so that was one fun story, I thought. And then we had another family that we knew whose son had peanut and nut allergies, and he was diabetic. And so that was really hard for them. And he ended up keeping Metaball in the nurse's office at school, because when he started getting low and it wasn't time for lunch, or he wasn't going to be going home soon, and his blood sugars were low, he could go to the nurse's office, eat some Metaball, and it would just like level him out. And so that was pretty cool to be like the backup snack at the nurse's office for that kid. I thought was really neat.
Yeah, you don't need much else. When you're the backup snack at the nurse's office, you've definitely made it.
Right.
All right. I mean, I didn't know if there's anything else that you wanted to share, Susie, to wrap up, and I don't see any additional questions.
Yeah, are there any questions?
So get them in if you would like to, even if just ask Susie anything personally, or about Metaball or food allergies in general and managing them.
Yeah. We'll give, I know there's a delay from, you know, there's like a half-minute delay from when we're talking to when you guys are hearing us. So we'll give a little time for you guys to thing, and I'll look and see if there's anything more I wanted to. The other thing I sort of touched on a little bit is this is a nice snack for I've had some vegan let's see, show the package, talk flavors, where can I buy Metaball, how much caffeine is in Metaball. Okay, so but I was just finished my thought on it's a great thing for vegans because they often have trouble getting that protein source in. And here's 10 grams of easy protein for the vegan folks out there. So
I'll screen share the flavors, and you can address caffeine if you'd like.
Right. Okay. You're going to share the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is no caffeine in Metaball. I wanted this to be kid friendly. I want the energy to be coming from, you know, just good, healthy, balanced nutrition. And so, yeah, so the caffeine, the caffeine drink people have kind of used the word energy to mean caffeine. But to me, energy, being a biochemist, energy isn't about caffeine. Energy is about, you know, what your body uses, which is, you know, healthy carbs and healthy fats. So I think everybody can see the screen share right now. You should be able to see. So we have 4 flavors. We have chocolate mint, chocolate brownie. Those are both kind of smooth. They're somewhat chewy. And in consistency, and then the berry cobbler crunch and the cinnamon apple crisp. both have a little pea protein crisp in it. So they have a similar chewy consistency, and then you get a little crisp in there too. And we use real fruits, and we use all top ingredients, real fruits. So, for example, the berry cobbler crunch has real strawberry and raspberry. It's just freeze dried. So we get a freeze dried powder of strawberry and raspberry, and that's what goes into it. And I can't tell you how many times people have tasted it and say, "Oh my gosh, this berry flavor really tastes like real berries," and it's because that's what's in it. The same with the apple, and of course we use high quality cocoa so that you get a really good strong chocolate flavor out of those. We don't have any plans for any new flavors yet. We're working on these 4 right now, and there's definitely discount available for Nourished attendees. If you go to the if you search for Metabol, if you find we had a booth or whatever, so you can find Metabol on all the product listings. And then within there, there's a coupon, but what's the coupon code, Ashley?
It's for 30% off. I think you have to redeem it through the button on here, I believe.
Okay.
So I'd go to our booth and click through that way.
Okay.
And we're also doing giveaways. I think there's one more today.
Yes.
So you can enter for those as well.
And you can buy Metabol we're at Wegmans if you're in the area of Wegmans, and we're also on Amazon, Amazon Prime, and through our own website. And on our website, we also have a subscription program. So where I was talking about how I like to make sure I have a stock of a snack that I like, that's why we did this subscription program. I have it. You can get either 20 bags a month or 40 bags a month. And again, each bag is a single serving. And so, our family of 5 can go through that 40 bags a month very easily. But I know a lot of people, I have a friend who gets them and she likes the 20 bag a month. And the nice thing through our subscription is you can pause it at any time. You can cancel it at any time. There's no contract period or whatever, no commitment. And so that's a good way to get a bulk amount of it. So it can become sort of your go-to easy to grab snack.
Awesome. And we'd always take any suggestions or feedback or anything like that. Once we close this out, obviously you won't be able to do it in the comment section. But if you go to our website and go to the contact, those come to me every day. Or Susie every day. So those will be addressed, and we'd love to hear feedback and any comments that you guys have, including flavor suggestions.
Yeah. Trevor, what do you want us to make?
Yeah, there's definitely a delay here.
A delay, so we'll wait a little bit to see if we hear from Trevor.
I think you were going to address that, Susie, about Metabol being vegan as well,
right?
Plant-based protein.
Yes. So because we are egg-free and dairy-free, all of our ingredients are, and we're actually. Oh, another thing I wanted to address is just sort of how seriously we take all of our claims. So, because obviously I'm coming from the background of a parent of someone with a severe allergy, we make peppermint bark flavor. Well, that's what the chocolate mint is. Very similar to peppermint bark.
So get that chocolate mint, Ashton.
I'm sorry, I got interrupted. The vegan aspect of it, and
I think you were saying how seriously we take our certification.
Oh, right. So we are certified vegan. We're certified gluten-free. We are made in a gluten-free factory. And in fact, our facility is free from all of the top major allergens. Our line is free from all of those. There is egg and soy lecithin in another part of the factory that doesn't touch ours. So, but we test for those things. So in every batch that we make, we do allergen testing anyway, even though it should be free from everything. And it has been, every test has been negative. So, oh, pumpkin spice. Yeah, that's a good idea. It's good for fall. But if you like pumpkin spice, try the cinnamon apple crunch because that's a nice fall flavor. Kind of reminds me of cider donut. So yes, we take our claims of being allergy friendly very seriously, and we make everything in a allergy free facility, which is really unusual. There are not a lot of facilities that are that way, which is why most of the bars of this type are not so allergy friendly. Well, if you want to find them at your local health or gym facility, you should go and ask them to bring them in if the gym is open right now. And that's why right now, because there are so many places closed and everything, that the Amazon or through our website is even a better, way to go right now. It comes right to your doorstep, super easy ordering.
All right, we have about, I think, 10 minutes. And I don't know if Jen, we need to wrap up anytime soon, but if there are any other questions, we can answer those. Or Susie. But otherwise, we can also wrap up.
You're welcome, Candace. Thank you all. This is a little bit funny format because I don't know who I'm speaking to. I don't know how many of you are out there, but I'm happy that whoever is there is here, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any follow-up questions or anything, like Ashley said, you can reach out to me through either the portal you can get to us or go to our website at metabolicenergybites.com, and there it is. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, even just talk to you about if you're new to this whole allergy crazy world. And I remember when I was there, it seemed overwhelming and so hard, and I cried, and it just is manageable. It really is. So if you need a little help feeling like it's not so bad and not so overwhelming, I'd be happy to talk and help you through it.
Thanks, Susie. And thank you for taking the time today. And all of you out there as well, thank you for taking the time today. And I hope that you found this valuable.